Hello, and welcome to the short presentation to help you see the return on investment by using the American Skilled Labor Association apprentice program currently right now for automotive technicians. Just first, a little background. My name is Mike Davidson. I'm the president and founder of ASLA, and this all started some years ago as a shop owner, which I've been since 1998. Just realizing that I had not hired anyone from the local technical schools. And so I got busy to get on their advisory board to try to understand what they were instructing the students so I could see what it is that they were learning and hopefully maybe find some technicians. Well, after being on the advisory board for 2 years, I discovered that they were not, at least at this particular technical school, they were not teaching the students what I needed them to learn to come into my environment and become successful automotive technicians. I wasn't necessarily looking for them to produce a master technician, but I certainly was looking for them to produce at least the minimal standards that might be required of an apprentice walking into my shop. Well, when I realized what they were teaching was not what we needed, I then put together some shop owners. We got together and we wrote a curriculum for the technical school. There was an event where we made that presentation to the Board of Trustees, and it was well received. And as far as I know, it's still sitting on their shelf today. So nothing really developed in the school for lots of reasons that I won't go into here, and some I'm sure I'm not even aware of. But at any rate, it didn't help our industry. So from that, I created American Skilled Labor Association. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our purpose is to build curriculums for apprentices and mentors to be able to work side by side, to have tracks to run on so they know exactly what they're to be teaching and with clear checkpoints of progress. This program was approved by the United States Department of Labor in June of 2016. So what's the problem? How did this all get started? John Ratzenberger said on his Made in America TV show that he says, I've spoken with hundreds of business owners and managers who all say the same thing. If we don't have more trained workers in the years ahead, we may have to close or drastically change our business model. That will be devastating for America. Many employers are desperate now for skilled workers to fill essential jobs, and this problem will grow as veteran workers retire. We can already see how the skilled worker shortage is causing us to lose the production edge that has fueled America's economy. The NFIB, or the National Federation of Independent Businesses, has said that 44% of small businesses looking to hire reported few or no qualified applicants for positions that they were trying to fill. That is a huge number for us. So what happened to the aftermarket? Now, before we jump into these statements concerning the aftermarket, I just want to be clear about this. This is a compilation of information that I've put together as a result of meeting with young technicians in their late 20s and early 30s who have left our industry, speaking to current technical teachers, as well as people in the dealership and the aftermarket. Now, this is a pretty broad brush, but I will tell you that it is the lament of many shop owners that I have spoken to and the others that I mentioned earlier across the United States. So that's not to exclude the fact that there are islands of hope, if you will, of technical schools that are doing a good job, because they do exist, but by and large they don't exist. And so here's what's been concluded from the time I've spent talking to people over the last 5 or 6 years. We let someone else decide what was best for us. The United States education system of the 70s and 80s decided who went to college, or if they weren't college material, we'll send them to shop class. As independents, we kind of gave our industry over to this system and saying, hey, if you'll teach our students, we'll give them jobs. Well, the technical schools really lost touch with what students needed to learn. The auto manufacturers invested heavily in these schools and giving their dealership sort of first choice of the top students. So when the students arrived at the dealership, they ended up alone on the lube bay and $30,000 to $40,000 in school loans. No mentor, no direction, no future. So I ask you this question. Would you stay? So what makes ASLA the answer? What we offer is a plan, a mentor, and a guaranteed job. We provide meaningful relationships with coworkers and business owners. People are investing in people, and that sets the ASLA program apart. As we say, hire, train, and retain. And you're going to love this number. When we talk about retention and retention rates in our industry, I don't know what they are, but I know they're extremely low. But according to the Department of Labor, the retention rates of apprentice programs like ASLA is 91%. I like that number. So what is it? Well, ASLA is an apprentice program approved by the United States Department of Labor. ASLA allows shop owners to use the approved program, which qualifies them to apply for grants in their states, and all the money will stay in their respective state. ASLA provides the words needed to apply for grants. We've successfully applied and received grants, and so these grants typically want to know information about the history of our industry, what the future holds, how many potential jobs, and all that information has already been researched, and we'll supply that to you. ASLA provides the approved Department of Labor documents, the applications for mentors, and the apprentices and shops. We want people to apply to get into this program. ASLA has developed 3 documents to run the program. Hey, I'm a shop owner, and I know I don't need a whole pile of stuff to do in order to get an apprentice program in my shop. So we've narrowed it down to 3 things that we believe and know and have been proven to help track the program and the progress of the program. First is just the mentor cost calculator. That's for the shop owner. He has 4 numbers to enter each week, and that he will always know what the program is costing him on a weekly basis. A mentor guide. These are the tracks that the mentor uses to run on to train his apprentice. It's separated out in very clear detail in 30, 60, and 90 days, and I'll show you an example of that in just a moment. And then thirdly, the apprentice guide. This is just the time tracking device so that we can track what the apprentice has learned as far as the number of hours that he spent in any particular category that's been approved by the Department of Labor, as well as any related training that the apprentices has been involved in. Again, I'll show you that coming up. But let's look at results. Here's typical results of 6 months of work for an apprentice, and it's important to understand that if you break down the hours that a student is in the classroom under the typical high school and technical school program, the number of hours that they are in the classroom is 538 hours over a 2-year period of time. Under the ASLA program, they're in the classroom 2,000 hours year 1 and 2,000 hours year 2. So just the mere exposure of the classroom, quote unquote, classroom training with the on-the-job training is significantly greater, which means the learning takes place at a significantly higher rate. And it's shown pretty clearly in gross profit numbers. Now, typically a shop's gross profit target is 70% on labor. The gross profit margin when you first start an apprentice and mentor, when you count them as one person, which is the way this is determined, is negative 8%. It's pretty typical in that first week of the apprentice being on the job. But watch how fast it grows. And just a month later, we're at 33. In November, in this example, 52, and then it dropped to 49 and 64, and then 65. These are results within 6 months of an apprentice working with a mentor in the Bay. And by this time, he already has 1,000 hours of on-the-job training versus that 538 for 2 years under the technical school model. So here are those numbers that are actually tracked from that graph I just showed you as it moved forward. But we'll just jump down here to this graph in the lower left-hand corner. We all know how business goes in our industry. It goes up and down. But you'll see this dotted trend line, which will show you how the gross profit continues to grow over time. And then this solid line represents the actual gross profit for the shop after any reimbursement, or in this particular grant that reimbursed 75% of the cost. So again, this mentor cost calculator gives the shop owner the tool he needs to know what his cost is. This tool is also used to report to the grants, for any approved grants, what the actual cost is. Because what it's breaking it down, it's showing, well, if we had gross sales of $100,000, and we did in this example, these are real live numbers from a real shop, and our actual gross profit was $49,000, that means our gross profit percentage was 49%. Our target was 70%, and so $70,500 puts you at 70%, or there's a gross profit loss of $21,387 and a penny. So what happens here in this particular grant that reimbursed 75% of that cost, reimbursed a total of $16,040.26. So the net cost to the shop over this 6-month period of time was $5,346, or if we break it down to cost per hour for the mentor in the building, $5.30 an hour. That is after reimbursement. That is a huge help for the shop to get us moving along the lines, to get that apprentice up to speed in a very quick manner. Next is the mentor guide. Again, we break it down into what's required of the mentor to train the apprentice in 30, 60, 90-day increments, or I should just say 30-day increments. There's a place at the end of each competency. Each competency is numbered, and then that competency is to be signed off by the mentor and the apprentice, indicating that the apprentice has demonstrated to the mentor that he can actually do the competency that's listed to the left. So they're all numbered. There's typically 36 competencies in our program that the technician must learn. And so again, with the sign-off, this is kept by the mentor and will be audited when needed, that the mentor is doing his job in instructing the apprentice. Next is the apprentice guide. So for the apprentice technician, or we'll call it the apprentice time tracking, what we're simply asking the apprentice to do is every day, this is month 1, day 1 here, and so we have all the days of the month, month 1. He's simply going to write in the number of hours that he spent in each of the categories that's been approved by the Department of Labor, A through H, represented here. Anytime he spent in related training, such as after hours work, through some of the classes that come to our area, or even video training during the day when there wasn't a car to work on and he completed related training. All of his day is going to be filled with training. And so he's going to put in here the number of hours that he spent in each of these categories. At the end of the day, he's going to put in the number of hours he was in the building. So in this example here, you have 2 days of 9 hours and 8.5 hours. So that equals, I think, 26.5 hours so far for those 3 days so far. And so this is all that the apprentice fills out on a daily basis. Now, at the end of that document is sort of the calculations of everything, and this document is what's sent to the office so that we can track the on-the-job training of the apprentice. In this example, or in this real live example, we show 26.5 hours in the building. We've spent so far 6 hours of training in shop safety. And so as you see, this is all year 1. Now, we've allowed 4 years for those things that, life happens. So we want to give plenty of time in the document for the training to occur. Over here to the far right is the goal that's been established by the Department of Labor of hours needed in training. And then the difference that is left here in training shop safety is 114 hours. And all of these numbers are auto-populated. There's nothing for the apprentice to do. He only has to fill out that daily sheet. The other item that is done is once they sign off on those competencies, then each of these boxes are highlighted that competency is completed. So again, this is a document sent back to the office so that we can track the progress of the apprentice and report that to the Department of Labor. Very simple. So the ASLA program. What we do is we're going to continue development of resources for mentors, apprentices, and shop owners. Hey, we get 1 million pages of new information in our industry every 12 months. So we know this is not a one and done program. We must continue to develop the program and these resources for the mentors, apprentices, and shop owners. Use of the program is for member shops under license agreement with a local organization, such as an ASA chapter, a NAPA business development group, or a TechNet group. That's what we're after. We're not looking to license ASLA to individual shops. We're looking to license ASLA, and the business model is for it to be licensed to a small organization that has shops underneath it, or members. All grant money applied for with ASLA assistance will be received by local organizations and distributed to member shops. So ASLA gets none of the grant money. It all stays local. So what do we provide for you? One, we provide access to the Department of Labor Registered Apprentice Partner Information Data System. It's called RAPID's website, and that logs the local apprentice's progress from the sheet I demonstrated earlier. You have access to all the Department of Labor approved documents, being the work process and related instruction outline that's been developed between us and the Department of Labor, the apprenticeship agreement, the affirmative action plan, qualifications and selection procedure, as well as the employer acceptance agreement, which you'll be glad is only one paragraph long. You'll get local federal agent contact. We'll provide the person's name and contact information for your local federal agent. Implementation training for the shops via the web. We have the training for those 3 documents in a 5-minute video that's on the download tab under our website. A password is needed in order to get to that training. You'll have access to the 3 documents needed for shop implementation. So again, 3 documents to implement the program in any shop. That's the mentor cost calculator, the mentor guide, and the apprentice time tracking document. You'll receive the words for local grant application. These applications, again, require certain information that they need to know about the future of our industry and what the job outlook looks like. And so we provide that for you. We'll provide initial marketing material. Now, it's important that we attend these organizations, your organization, attend what I'm calling potential apprentice prospects. And so these can be career fairs, job fairs that may be going on in your local community. But one thing we do require, so there's 2 events that you need to attend a year. One of those events must be a homeschool event. What we've discovered is that the homeschool community has a large number of students that potentially want to be in our industry, and these students have been working on their own since they were very young and are eager to be involved in a skilled labor trade. Also, many of these parents have saved money for their students to go to college, but for different reasons have determined that college was not best for their student. As we've said, that college is not for everyone. We've heard that many times over. So the initial marketing material includes the event signage, the shop apprentice brochures, and the ASLA door stickers. That's all you need to get started and be a part. And the whole purpose of going to these events is to simply get names and contact information of potential apprentices for you to follow up with later and to get into our program. You'll get result reports from current apprentices in the program to use for shop recruiting. Hey, if you're an ASLA, if you're an ASA organization, a small chapter, or you're a BDG group, we always need more members, right? And so if you have an apprentice program, then you have something that no one else has to offer in helping them get new people into our industry and into their shops. So you can use the ASLA program as a recruiting tool. You'll be able to upload the ASLA logo to your site, and we'll upload all of the shops that are supporting ASLA or involved in the program to the ASLA site. And we all know how that creates authority with, Father Google in regards to SEO and things of that nature. So again, a help there. So use the apprentice program to raise support for your organization at a suggested cost of $50 a month per shop. ASLA is to receive $25 for each shop that's in the ASLA program. So you can keep the other $25, or if you believe that your shops are willing to pay more, then you keep the difference. But ASLA is looking for $25 for each shop to be in the program. That is basically per month. So the ASLA program association cost. So if you're an association, here is your cost. Year 1. You pay a $7,500 program licensing and setup fee, and that's one time. You then pay $1,500 program license and support quarterly. That's what you pay. The funds are used for ongoing development of the program, to locate grant writers, develop mentor resources, and marketing the program, and continue to raise industry support. The subsequent years, so after year 1, you simply pay a $1,500 program license and support quarterly. So you need 20 shops to cover the cost. If they're paying $50 a month and you're going to keep $25, a month from each shop, then you simply are going to need to recruit 20 shops to be in your program or to be in your organization, and you've got your costs covered. So here's the requirements. So if you're an organization and you're working under the ASLA license, here are your requirements. Number one, you apply for local grants and distribute funds to participating shops. You recruit shops to use the ASLA apprentice program. You send dues to ASLA quarterly. You collect monthly shop members' dues. I said recommend is $50 and $25 goes to ASLA. You send that along with your quarterly dues. Register the apprentices on the Rapid site. We'll train you how to do that. Very easy to do. You'll also assist veterans with monthly reports. The monthly reports are one page. They're available on our website at americanskilledlabor.com. The veteran just fills it out and you record the number of hours of training, and you simply sign it and send it in, and he's going to get veteran benefits as a result of that. And again, that form stays current as it is a link on our site. So let's look at the shop cost and benefit. The shop pays $50 a month as has been recommended. He uploads the logo to his site. He's eligible to receive funds from any local grant awarded, with 100% of the grant money staying in the local area. Assistance on ASLA site in identifying a mentor. That's a big step for a shop. How do I determine who my best mentor is? We're going to help them do that with information on our site. An apprentice plan that will attract better students into the aftermarket. When you have a plan for someone and you show them the tracks that they're going to be running on, and you're able to track that progress, you're going to attract better students when you have that type of plan in place. As a shop owner, you'll always know the cost of the program using the mentor cost calculator, so adjustments can be made along the way. And of course, a big benefit for all of us is this retention rate in programs like ASLA being at 91%. Boy, could we use some of that. It's really a place for mentors to give back. It's as has been said, it's more blessed to give than to receive. I know that there are a lot of people in our industry that are aging out of our industry, and they're looking around, they're saying, how am I going to finish well? Well, ASLA is a way for them to finish well. So when it comes to that mentor, he's going to be able to give back, and it's going to mean something for him. And of course, a great benefit for our shops is a future. Hey, no technicians, no future, right? So we've got to have technicians for a future. So let's look at the apprentice cost and benefits. These are some of the numbers you're going to want to pay attention to very closely. One, there are 3 different programs in the ASLA program. 2 of them are tuition-based, and one of them is simply a registration fee under the Department of Labor program. The tuition for $25,000 is for the undercar program. The tuition at $25,000 includes a $1,400 registration fee, and $15,000 of that money is going to go back to the shop for reimbursement for training. So you may get grants, you may not need grants, that may be enough money, but in addition to any grants that you may be able to receive in your local area, $15,000 of that tuition is coming back to the shop that's training that student. Under the automotive technician program, the tuition cost is $36,800, and that does include, again, the $1,400 registration fee with $30,000 going back to the shop. Now, that's typically, the undercar program is 1 year. The automotive technician program is slated at 2 years. And so the shop will get back $30,000 over a 2-year period of time. That's given back on a quarterly basis as long as the apprentice has continued to improve or continue to progress through the program. The Department of Labor program, we are not allowed to charge a tuition, so there is a registration fee of $1,400 for each year. So $1,400 year 1, $1,400 year 2. And certainly that program is very eligible to receive grants when you are using the approved apprentice program that we've established with the Department of Labor. And so very affordable, and certainly for the veterans, many of them will have that benefit available to them to pay that $1,400 registration fee as well. We're going to give that apprentice a solid career path. We're going to give him a mentor. Veterans receive veteran benefits under this program. Currently, it's housing allowance under the Department of Labor program only. This is a plan that is more appealing than technical schools. with a guaranteed job instead of guaranteed debt with no promise of a job. A certificate from the Department of Labor upon completion. On-the-job experience toward ASC certification much sooner than if they went to college and then came on the job. A lifelong relationship that will never be forgotten. And that's what you're going to find. You're going to find that a mentor is going to always remember that apprentice, and that apprentice will always remember that mentor. So, if you want to hear from an actual ASLA apprentice about the program, I want to just steer you back to our homepage. Watch the 4-minute video on our homepage entitled Apprentice Perspective. It's located very easily right here. If you go to our homepage, you'll see this video that tells you sort of an overview, the return on investment video that you're watching, and then right below that is Apprentice Perspective. You're going to want to watch that video. It's about 4 minutes long. It was much easier to just leave on the site and direct you there than to put it into a PowerPoint, at least for me. Maybe I'm just technologically challenged there. So you want to be sure and spend that time going there. So here's what you need to do to get started. First, your organization needs to purchase a license at $7,500 and sign the license agreement. You'll contact your local Department of Labor agent, which we provide that contact information to let them know that you now have an apprentice program that's approved by the Department of Labor. You'll have all your shops that are members register on the ASLA site. Now, not every shop is going to want to be able to take on an apprentice, and we understand that. But we certainly would like for each shop to help support what we're doing and the efforts that we're doing. So we would ask that you ask your shops to please support the apprentice program by supporting ASLA, which they can do on the site. So whether or not they take on an apprentice and mentor relationship, we're asking that you ask your shops to support what we're doing. We're in this together, and no one's going to change it for us. We are the ones that are going to change it. Your shop then needs to identify a mentor, and the shops are to steer all potential apprentices to ASLA site for application. Let me tell you, this application is not a simple application for the apprentice. He must provide at least a 500-word essay as to why he wants to be in the industry, and he must produce a video resume of himself so we get to see him and hear his heart when it comes to being in our industry. It's time for us to find the right people to get into our industry for what our future holds. And so application is required by the apprentice to get into the program. The shop then gets to interview the apprentices as we provide that information to the shop that's been provided to us by the apprentice. He then gets to see this apprentice, interview him, and determine if he thinks he's a fit for his organization. He then hires the apprentices. He downloads the forms from the site. He follows the program. That's what happens. And then, of course, apply for local grants using the information that ASLA provides. If you have any questions, sorry I don't have it printed here, but I'll do it audibly. Of course, you can go to our contact page right on this site, americanskilledlabor.com. You can also call our office at 888-751-2752. Or you can call me, the president of ASLA. My name is Mike Davidson. My phone number is 501-993-6121. Thank you for taking a few minutes to learn more about the return on investment for ASLA.